1340 96.5 KVGC. On the phone with us, Douglas Viviani from Everything Old is New Again. Tonight, he and David Cohen co-host the show that examines our pop culture, where it came from, why it's still popular, and as I always say, definitely two guys making radio fun again. Everything Old is New Again. Douglas Viviani, happy 4th of, well, actually, happy 7th of July. Did you?
There we go. Yeah, it's a tough week. I mean, it's a great week to take a vacation because I don't know if anybody's working. It's people taking off before the 4th, after the 4th, the whole week. So here we are, and welcome back. It looks like I saw some pictures online. Looks like you were having some fun yourself.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was a good. This is and people always when I say this, they go, "Well, didn't you? And wasn't it your vacation?" You know, this was my wife's dream vacation. Teresa has dreamt of this vacation for 20 years or more.
Wow.
And I kept people say, "You having fun?" I said, "Yeah. You know, this is my wife's dream vacation." And, well, didn't you like this vacation? Well, yeah, I enjoyed it too, but it was, you know, I mean, I'm sure you have a vacation. Your wife has a vacation. The kids have a vacation in mind. Everybody has one in mind. Right. I don't know what mine, and then I started thinking about it. I don't know what my dream vacation would be. The couple that we traveled with want to go to Italy. My wife would like to go to Italy. I've got no desire. I mean, I'd go. I'd go along as, you know, but I don't know. I think I'd rather see. I really want to see Mount Rushmore.
Right.
I want to see the Grand Canyon. That you know, I've been through Washington. I've done Washington D.C. 3-4 times. So I don't have to go there again. But I would if someone asked me. I'd go back. But I'd like to see, you know, maybe Gettysburg. Have you ever been to Gettysburg? I've never been. Is it what people, you know, is it kind of awe-inspiring and kind of spooky?
It is. You have to be prepared for the fact that you're basically going to be looking at a few plaques and a big, large field. There's not, you know, of course, there's not a reenactment and there's not anything that comes alive and there's not a big, huge natural monument or anything like that. So you do need to combine it with lots of other stuff, but it will... you know, it is awe-inspiring because, of course, they've got the Gettysburg Address laid out there for you to read, and which is an amazing speech, of course. But they've got that in D.C. as well, you know, in the monument there, the Lincoln Memorial.
Right,
so
right.
you don't have to go to Gettysburg for that. But, you know, Gettysburg is an amazing, you know, of course, you need to study the history of it before. Otherwise, you're just looking at a field and saying, "Why aren't they cutting this grass?" You know. But when you know what's there and what happened and so forth, and the turning point of the Civil War and all that, it's definitely awe-inspiring. You need to know the history, but once you do, it's almost like going. And this is kind of not fair, of course, but for me, and a baseball fan, like when I stood on Yankees, when I went to Yankee Stadium, and you just know that, you know, Babe Ruth was here on the same exact grass. You know, it gives you some kind of a feel. Same thing with Gettysburg, on the same exact grass and field, and you know, with all the bush around it, and it's the same exact location where this huge historic event occurred. It's very compelling.
Yeah. Well, I like I say, I'd like to do that, but I would go to Italy. I wouldn't mind going on, you know, the cruise we were on was 10 days. I wouldn't mind going on, there's a couple of ones that go almost round the world, 254 days. I wouldn't mind doing one of those someday.
That's amazing. I would love to do one, talk about Europe. I've done some European trips, but not by ship. And they have some that go around the Scandinavia area, or they have some that go around Europe. And to have the facilities right there and things laid out for you, and you get a touch of a lot of different countries at once, could really be a lot of fun.
Well, I was thinking that because a lot of these cruises go out of New York. They go out of New York, and then they go up Iceland, Greenland, across, and then down the continent, England and Ireland and Italy and France, and then go through the canal and over to to the Pacific Ocean and come back again. So I was thinking that if Teresa and I ever were to do that, we could come spend maybe a week or two visiting you and staying in your basement. But then I see the other day online, your basement is, man, you have a home studio that rivals the world headquarters of Motherlode Broadcasting here in Jackson. So I guess we'll have to stay at a hotel now.
No, well, of course, we have a guest room, you see, so it still would work out fine.
You didn't flinch when I said a week or two.
No, I didn't. There's not a lot of action going on in this house all the time. There's a lot of action with kids, but it's nice to have some additional adult to talk to in the house besides my wife and myself. We're scrambling around after the young kids, so we would and maybe we would levy the cost of the room by having you babysit one night. We could actually go out to a dinner, so without the kids.
Sure.
So all of that together, I wouldn't hesitate for a moment. We'd love to have you.
Okay, so my last thing on a cruise: don't buy jewelry on a cruise. It's a ripoff, folks. Casinos, ripoff. Entertainment, fantastic. Food was great. Bingo, total ripoff. Stay away from that. But other than that, it was a good time. So
I agree with all of that, 100%, except for two things. One, in the casino, they have these contests. They try to lure you in. You have to have your discipline. But I've won a couple of those contests just with, you play with their money, you play, okay, it's a roulette contest, a backgammon contest, whatever it might be. And I've won a couple of those, which is kind of fun, but you got to walk out. Of course, the trick is that they don't want you to.
Well, my friend was playing in a 21 tournament, and he got into the finals, and final hand he bet $1,200.
Well, you do bet differently when it's not real money, so to speak.
And I'm like, they're going, what? Cash out now! Cash out now!
Because it's never your real money. They think you win a T-shirt,
It's exactly what he got.
The other rip-off is the art contest. They still do the art auctions and things? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those I never understood that. They're not real.
I'm thinking to myself, who the hell, excuse my language, goes on a cruise to buy a fine piece of art? Or who goes on a cruise, I can kind of see maybe some people, but not in my class, gonna buy jewelry, watches, fine fragrance, clothing, all this on a cruise ship.
What you do, when you do it for me, they have these days where they're running, it's almost, the cruise is almost over, and they run these sales where you can get the T-shirt for, $10 and the watch for $2 for $10 or something.
Well, that's exactly that's exactly what they did on the was it the 4th of on the 4th of July, because we got back on Thursday the 5th. So on the 4th of July, they had we went to a cooking demonstration, then a tour of the galley, and by golly, the galley ended up right in one of the dining rooms where they were having a 75% off sale on. But you know what it was, Douglas? It was all the off season merchandise. See, that ship, we were on the Grand Princess, goes to Alaska in the summer, Hawaii in the winter. So they were dumping all their Hawaiian, all their spring and summer, or all their winter type stuff, but it was summer. You know what I mean? They were dumping all the Hawaiian stuff, and it was
absolutely that's the way to go. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like in the East Coast too, they have these trips down to the Caribbean and these islands, and people get off on a beautiful island where you could go to the beach or you could do swim with the dolphins and all this stuff, and they're going shopping, and they're going shopping for jewelry, and like I just don't. You live in near, not to say, but you live near. Both of us live near major national cosmopolitan areas where if you want to get real good jewelry, if you really feel like it, you could go to San Francisco or to New York City and really dive into that and go crazy with it if you really felt like it, or even locally. I mean, what's jewelry after a while at this point? Whatever. But my point is, why am I spending money on going on a cruise to spend 3 hours shopping with my wife? That's not going to happen.
Well, I found something out that is kind of shocking, and I won't beat it up much longer, but many of the jewelry stores on shore are owned by the cruise lines.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Is that right?
Yeah. I talked to a number of locals on our trip, and they were saying, and what happens too is that these companies will come in, even the T-shirt shops, the little knick-knacky stores, whatever the tchotchke places, will come in and pay 4 to 5 times what the locals are paying for rent for a building. And
just to get them out of
the locals can't afford it, but the cruise lines will pay that. So, but anyway, don't buy jewelry, don't buy art, don't play bingo.
Right. Don't go to the lecture on the art buying or on the the excursions. This is where you go to buy this, that, and the other. Just go and have some fun. Stop with the jewelry.
Every day, the jewelry store had a 10:30 mimosa party. Woo! Come and have mimosa. And it's just anyway.
But if you do it right, you can have some great fun and a good time. It was good to see you. Good to see the pictures. I lived vicariously through you. Though I thought it was odd, I have to say, that you're in Alaska, and I know this is not necessarily the reality, but in your mind, Alaska is freezing cold, and there's a gentleman wearing shorts.
I was there. There weren't very many of my ilk there. There were very few brethren of the shorts there. But I will say but it was beautiful when we were there.
Yeah.
It rained one day in Skagway before we got on the train, just lightly, and we had rain jackets, but it was 53 to 60 degrees the whole time we were there, 63 even one day. Well, I wear shorts pretty much year round, so that didn't faze me one bit. I mean, it wasn't. Well,
what about I know the Princess, especially, some lines don't, but Princess, I know, still has the formal nights. How did the tux look in short?
We had our formal wear. Yes, we had our formal wear. Third or fourth night, I tried to sneak into one of the dining rooms wearing shorts, and I got seated, and I was seated, and I thought, I made it. And everybody was like, yeah, you made it. And the maitre d' came up to me and said, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to.
Oh, see, they really
please, whispers of mine. I have to ask you, please, to change your attire to formal. Okay, all right, no problem. So, but I had the collared shirt on and all. So I was only gone about 5 minutes. Just boom, was right back.
Right.
Again, so
it's great fun, and the entertainment's great fun too.
Yeah,
it was nice to see a show every night.
Yeah, it was. It was like being, honestly, it was like being in Vegas.
Right.
Hey,
do you have a ventriloquist, or there's always an odd act besides the usual?
No, we had a comic, which he was pretty funny. And they had singers and dancers and all types of
those old time like jugglers or
nothing like that. It was more like there was 2 or 3 Broadway style shows and one crooner, one rocker, the comedian, and it was different every night.
Right.
It was fun. So it was fun. It was glad to go, glad to come back. I wanted to ask you, did you happen? Because I think last time we talked, you were debating whether to take the kids to go see Jurassic World.
We took the kids to see Jurassic World. They were all hopped up, all excited. Grandpa went, my brother went, their uncle, myself, and the 2 kids, age 6 and 9, and it was quite an experience, let's put it that way. The movie itself did not disappoint, but I think I'm going to have to go back and see it, because Grandpa and Uncle John watched the movie. Dad gets to, get the goobers and popcorn, and of course they learned how to mix the goobers with the popcorn from Grandpa. So they learned the great habits from Grandpa. I get to get up to go to the bathroom like 6 times with them. I get to get the booster seats when a late moviegoers come in and sit right in front of Leo. I got to get up and get the booster seats. I got to take off my shirt and give it to cover Angelica's legs because the theater's cold. Thank goodness I was wearing an undershirt. I get to do all these things while the movie's going on. It's going to movies with kids is really an adventure unto itself besides the movie. So the movie was great fun. It was fun to speak with the kids, and they had a nice experience. I think they'll remember with their uncle and grandpa. But Dad, I may have to go back and see because I missed about, I would say, a third of the movie, jumping up and down, all this stuff.
Well, what's coming up this week on Everything Old is New again?
Well, I'll tell you, we had the fireworks on Wednesday night, and for the 4th of July, and had a lot of fun. But I took off for the 4th of July, as did David. So we have recorded. Believe it or not, we don't do that very often, but we recorded a show with substitute host this week.
Oh, no.
And we've got Barbecue and Fondue Guy are back. And they're going to try to decide to see a movie together, and from what I understand, it rained, so that caused some problems with the barbecue itself. And I don't know, I think it's going to be some fun to hear what they have to say and what they do on a rainy day. Barbecue and Fondue Guy can't get out and cook. They're going to interact and see. It's also Barbecue Guy's birthday, so there's some gifts that Fondue is going to bring and interact in that regard. I don't know. Let's see if it's going to have some fun with these characters.
Douglas, how did Barbecue Guy and Fondue Guy meet? Are they neighbors? Are they colleagues? Are they friends? Did someone just throw them together as two hosts of a show that have nothing in common? What's their backstory?
Yeah, they were. Now we're going back, of course, 4 years. If you remember, originally Barbecue came on as a novelty guest to speak about barbecues and cooking, and he was by himself. And then David knew this Fondue Guy from New York City, and so the following time that Barbecue was on the show, they threw in Fondue Guy with them, thinking that it would be good to have a team because they're both inexperienced in the radio field, and have them work together as a team. So they had never met until on air, maybe about 3.5 years ago, and it's been quite an experience since.
Wow, it sounds kind of like is love-hate relationship too strong?
Yeah, it's basically it's Odd Couple 2, if you will. It's and then some, because Barbecue is a little more gruff than Oscar Madison, but they actually rival. We do get people that write in about Fondue Guy and Barbecue Guy. They also write in about Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, which these are characters once in a while take over our show, and we don't know exactly what to do with them if it's something that people are enjoying, or they turn on the radio and they go, what the heck is going on with this guy? What is this? But we don't care, because either way, it's radio you've never heard before. It's something unique, something different, and you only hear them like twice, maybe 3 times a year tops. Yeah. And it gives you, some little taste of the Bob and Ray in me, if you will.
There you go. So
it's a lot of fun. We have some fun with it. But besides that, I think it's some laughs. If you stick with it, I think you have some good times listening to the radio this weekend, listening to Barbecue and Fondue Guy on a rain out. We'll see.
There's no bigger bummer in life than a rained out barbecue.
Exactly. The barbecue is scheduled and all that, and what happens is Fondue Guy basically shows up unannounced because texts and everything went out to say that the barbecue's canceled, but Fondue Guy didn't get the message.
And Angelica and Leo, they're not at home.
Not in this one, no.
Okay, good. You took them with you. All right, yeah. Great. All right, tonight and tomorrow night, the show that anchors our evening programming is called Everything Old is New Again. Douglas Viviani and David Cohen making radio fun again. Well, Douglas, we will talk to you, I guess, next Saturday, and be listening tonight or tomorrow night if we miss tonight to see how things go with the barbecue.
Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to hearing some feedback.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too.